You don't ever leave, you never leave. Holes in his hands for the holes in my heart. Without his blood shed for me, I'd be stuck in the dark. I'm just being who I'm made, I ain't playing no part. If you searching for fulfillment, he ain't far. It's temporary to a turn on.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to week 31 of Faith and Fitness Podcast. I'm Chad, your host, and this podcast is about my journey. Last summer, I found myself in a pretty dark hole, and I knew that something had to change, and I didn't know what. And I then realized what was missing, and I wanted to fill that void, that God-sized hole that I've talked about, and I wanted to feel what was supposed to be there with God. And so that's where I started my 75 hard journey that started getting me back on track, and I stopped drinking on July 27th of last year. And like I've said before, I drank often, and I never liked being drunk, but drank often, and I just decided I was done. I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't like the fact that it kept me from not waking up in the morning, or that it was an excuse to not wake up in the morning, or just feeling like crap. And since I've felt drastically better. I did an episode talking about like just the poison that it is for our bodies, and I'm sure that I still put enough in my body with processed food and some other things, or some would say the coffee that I drink, but I believe that substantially better off for sure. Feel a lot better. And anyway, it's been an awesome journey for however many months 31 weeks is, and it's been good. So this week I got a little bit to that point where I've talked about, like, my plate can get full and I almost overfill it. So I felt like I just needed to start looking for some inspiration. So I went to some of the, I guess we'll call them the classics. And so Ephesians 4:13, I can do all things, through him who strengthens me. So it's just super simple, super quick and easy, but it just reminds you like the power for help that God can provide, and the challenges that we can overcome through him. I think that we're capable of much more than we give ourselves credit for, physically, emotionally, mentally, in every single way. But yeah, this week I started feeling like my plate was a little full. I had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was in a class all day, and a real quick, my biggest takeaway from that was, this is the Darren Hardy Business Master Class, and this is my third time doing it. And just a quick rundown of what that is. So the Business Master Class is essentially Darren Hardy, business success mentor, who provides 3 days of ideas and examples of implementation of those ideas, and just coaching, essentially. And it is like turn on a fire hose and just start drowning. Like, it is a ton of information. And a lot of the ideas and everything are the same. I mean, they're all absolutely awesome ideas, and the examples are great, but I've talked about it before, like the needing to repeat, like, right? Like I talked about when I got into my routine, like just like the doing it over and over and over and over again, or reading like scriptures like Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Like just saying it to yourself over and over and over again, and making sure that it sticks. And to times previous, I think it's every 6 months. The 2 times previous, like it was a ton of information. And this third time, so this is the power of like doing things over and over again, because is it essentially the same information that you're getting for the most part? But this third time through, I get hit 100% different. Like I was able to, the format was a little bit different, but like I knew what to expect. I even knew what some of the ideas were going to be. So like just the ability to kind of absorb the parts and pieces that I needed to hear was awesome. And that's like the same practice that I have put in with, my biblical studies. Like I've just tried to do it over and over again. And every now and then, like something just hits and it like kind of sticks. So when you feel like you just aren't getting something, or you're not understanding the point of it, but maybe others have told you that it's awesome or worth doing, or whatever the case is, like just keep doing it. Like that repetitiveness of it, it will like just stick. And it might seem like a waste for first few iterations of it, but I think there's a time that'll come that'll just kind of like hit and stick. It's so different than like physical training, right? Like, so there's some things in CrossFit, which is going to be my next topic, that like the muscle up or bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups or handstand push-ups or walking on your hands or double under jump ropes, like all these like kind of complex movements that it took me, so for me to learn how to do double under jump ropes, with a rope passed underneath you twice, that took, I think, like almost a solid 6 months. And we're talking like jump roping like every single day. And like those speed ropes, that little tiny rope, I mean, it hits you and it just smacks, and it just gets to the point where like your skin's just raw from where it hit, and it sucks. And you get to the point where you're thinking, what is the point of this? Like, I'm never, ever going to get this. And then you just stick with it. You stick with it. And then one day, like literally like one day, it just like happened. I don't know what I did different. I don't know what my mindset was in. I don't know what happened. But one day it just like hit and stuck. And then I got relatively good at them. And that's like the same with like how like muscle ups on the bar and the rings, or walking on my hands, like just all those complex things. Like it was just doing it over and over and over and over again. And that's the same with like anything else that you want to like overcome or learn, or like new habits. Like you have to do over and over and over and over and over again, like to the point where like you just are almost annoying yourself with how much you're repeating something, even if you're saying it. But in the end, it's worth it if you want to stick. So, and that leads me to my last thing, CrossFit. So last weekend, I didn't talk about it because I was out of town. I wanted to really hit on what I hit on last week, but it has been last, I think Saturday, maybe it was Saturday somewhere maybe it was last Sunday, whatever day the 20th was on, was in 2008. So what is that, 16 years ago? Is when I started CrossFit. I took my level 1 CrossFit certification April 20th, 2008. An interesting quick story about that is I worked graveyards and I was pretty new at my job, so I couldn't take the time off, and I worked over the weekend. So I worked Friday night, got off at 6 a.m., drove straight to the certification, stayed there all day long, attempted to get a couple hours of sleep, went back to work, and straight back to the certification on Sunday morning. So I was up for nearly an entire weekend, and then even somehow worked out during all that. Anyway, but this journey of CrossFit, like a lot of people make fun of it and have their opinions about it, but like the biggest takeaways that I have from it is, for one, it keeps me motivated and keeps me working out and keeps me fit. And two, like it's a community, and it like people make fun of it and they make fun of the cliques, but like I've met my best friends in that environment. And I've met people at some of these gyms that I've been able to build relationships with and have that like sense of community, and it's been awesome. So I'm not saying that you have to do CrossFit. I'm just saying like the power of finding an environment that you feel comfortable in and you feel like you can relate with people and that it creates that community. Not only you're going to get physically fit, but it is also good for your mental health to like that socialization. So I read something yesterday that like the Surgeon General, one of the newest epidemics is loneliness, and loneliness leads to like depression, and depression leads to like these high suicide rates that we have. So I think there's the importance of things like CrossFit or Orange Theory, or I don't know, like I've never been to them, but like maybe like these group yoga classes or Pilates classes or boot camps or anything else, like as long as there's like a chance to like kind of socialize or talk to people. And if you aren't comfortable, like that's a good opportunity to like get outside your box and like meet new people and like interact with people that you don't know. It's just good for your mental health, and you should just do it. And on top of that, once you build some of those relationships, like that helps when you have those days where you're just like, oh, I'm just not feeling like going to the gym today. It's like you now have like accountability partners that you've built in to your community that are expecting to see you. And we're human beings. Like once we've committed to something, we don't generally want to let people down. So like it's that extra help to like get you there each day. Heck, I go no matter what. I think I've said this before, but I go at 5 a.m. So I get up at 4:25. And even on the days where I know I'm not going to work out because I want it to be recovery day, I don't change my routine. I get up and I go and I'll stretch, and then I'll just kind of hang out. I'll socialize with some of the dudes that I've, met, or the friends that I have there, and just wake myself up for the day. So I want to say that I just think it's crazy that it's been 16 years since I started that, and that I've mostly still stuck with it. I've had my times where I've quit, but it's the one thing that keeps me excited about working out. And I'm not saying it's for everybody that that's what you should have to do. I'm just saying that you need to find out something, and like that stops giving you the excuse like, yeah, I need to start doing something one day. Like, stop saying that crap. Either do it or don't do it. But don't sit and tell yourself or tell other people that you're going to start doing something that you're in fact not actually going to start doing. I'm saying that you need to do it. Your health depends on it. And if you got kids and you're young, like, you owe it to them to set the example and to keep yourself healthy. To not make it so you get older and then make it so your kids are taking care of you unnecessarily when you get older, not because you've just gotten old, but because you were so unhealthy your whole life. So if you're not doing it for yourself, like, do it for them. But find something. There's, these pickleball gyms that I see going up. I've never been inside one, but they look freaking awesome. So maybe go pick that up. I don't know. I'm sure that there's many other things. Probably even some of these, like, I don't know if there's a lot of boxing gyms around here. I'm sure that we have some, but I'm sure there's a ton of options out there where you can build community, get fit, and work on mental health and try to decrease like these levels of loneliness that we have in the world. And when you're doing it, then drag somebody along with you. Do it with you. So I said that my plate was really full. My focus was Philippians, that I can do anything through him who strengthens me. And this week was like one of those weeks where I felt a little weak. I felt like I was getting beat up and broke down. And so 2 Corinthians 12, 9 and 10. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecution, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. and that's what I needed to hear this week. Like I just get stronger. Like when they stand out to me, and I'm reminded that I can do all things with him and that he strengthens me. And then I can just like own like those hardships and like that stuff. And a lot of it this week was me just putting myself into it, because I'm in finals week this week, work, baseball, just all the things that we all have these full plates of. And it's been a lot. So when it came out and even just doing this, like it was like that one extra thing that I thought was going to be like the tipping point, but I did it anyway. And I feel better for having done so. So that's kind of all over this week. I was going to try to keep it short and sweet, but just remember that like your weaknesses is where you can gain strength, and that you can do anything through him who strengthens you. And yeah, find a community that you can bond with and that gets you outside of like your normal elements and interacts with people. And if you're not even if you don't think you need to do it, go do it for the other people that might not be those people who are outgoing, those introverts that might just sit, not talk. Like go talk to them and help them. Like you never know, like when there's that one person that is feeling that loneliness or feeling that dark spot, and is all they need is that one person to just say hi or reach out to them or start a conversation with them. There's power in saying hi and having a conversation. So if you're going this week, if you see that one person that looks like they might need, a fist bump or a compliment, like don't just think it, do it. Find a community to get involved in. All right, everyone. Go out there and this week and get it done, and remember that you can do all things through him who strengthens you. So thanks everyone. Take care. Until next week. See ya.
I'm just being who I'm made. I ain't playing no part. If you searching for fulfillment, he ain't far. What's temporary to eternal? Eternal. What's temporary to eternal?